Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Genesis Mindset. And it's the 31st of December today. So, I'm not going to do any kind of special end of year video. I might do a special start of the year video, a reflection on the past year, on this year, plus goals moving forward. So, I have a plan that I've generated for this particular bull market. And I think it's probably a good time to reflect on that plan and see where is it? How is it going? How can it actually move forward? And maximize my gains from this and what I'm actually trying to do with this particular bull market. So, in this particular episode, I'm just going to talk very briefly about the kinds of interest generating platforms that there are on Pulsechain. So, obviously, we have PulseX, Fame, and Fux platforms. So, many people have covered those sorts of things in the past. PulseX with the yield farming of INC, so you can lock it up in the farms and get the INC rewards. You also have the liquidity providing. So I'm actually just going to show very quickly now, I'm just going to show a video clip of Crypto Sloth explaining what liquidity providing is, because I think it's probably something that people are still a little bit, even myself, is a little bit confusing, but the way that he explained it was like absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to show that video now. Okay, so you can see, makes a lot of sense, right? If you're trading this for this, then this goes in and that goes out. Brilliant. And obviously you scale that up, or you reduce it down, then it's slippage. If you scale it up, then there's no slippage. So that's something that's very important for this particular part, because I think there's a way to sell through these liquidity pools which have low liquidity. There's a way to actually sell that doesn't destroy the price. So if we sell too much of something when there's not enough liquidity in there, it destroys the price. So if you're trying to sell this much and there's only this much in the pool, then it actually causes the price to drop very fast or raise very fast. So that's something to be very conscious of, I think. Something I'm certainly very conscious of, not wanting to destroy the price. So I'm just going to go across to the screen here and have a look at some of these platforms. So this is a new one. Hyoscamine and Cadaceus. So Cadaceus is brand spanking new. So it has single-sided staking. So you can go up the top here. It's got farm and stake. So I'm in stake at the moment, and it has single-sided staking. So I put just a little bit. I bought a little bit to put into here, and I was told that if you it will unlock the Teddy. It was already unlocked for me, so I'm not too sure. But this whole website is it's a little bit buggy, to be completely honest with you. But all the guys in there are from like Sonny's Pubs. I recognize all the faces in there, so I kind of just go with the flow with Sonny's Pub. But if you look at how much I've put in here, so this is only just started now. So this would have started within the last few hours, within today, basically in Australia. So this here, I've deposited $30 worth, and already I have $6 to collect. So that's what's that? 1/5, which is pretty good. That's pretty damn good. Sorry, that's 1/6. So that's really good. So this is just in a few hours. So it's really got me thinking, this kind of a platform. So before I go into what my thoughts are going to be with this, here's some other pools that I'm in. So basically you create the liquidity pools in Pulsechain, and then once you get the PLPs, then you add the PLPs to this. So I might actually do like a little guide on that in the future as well. But just for now, I wanted to just go through my thinking on this. So for this one, for example, so this is PDI and Hyoscamine. So I created a liquidity pool, just a very small one, not much, 40. So I always kind of just do like $20, $30 kind of thing. So I bought the $20 of Hyoscamine for this and added with $20 of my DAI. Created a liquidity pool, so I got $40 in there, and it's generating, I think actually, as a matter of fact, I've actually taken already from this, claimed from this, and then re-added back into it. Because well, let's see what the rewards are actually. So you got to just press the claim. So you want to connect your wallet. So app.KYMATO.xyz, and I'm in farm. I press claim. Now this whole website, like I said, is very slow. You can see there, I can go ahead and claim all of these, but I'm not going to do that for the time being. I wanted to just show that there are these protocols here where you can generate all this yield. So I think already in this one, I've already generated like $20 worth in just under a week. So that's pretty good. Obviously the yield is getting lower and lower. The APR is getting lower and lower. And so the very brand new one is Cadaceus. So Cadaceus has, I mean, already this has dropped a lot. So this was in the 7 digits when I'd first created a liquidity, when I'd first created this particular LP rewards on my PLPs. So my thinking now is, well, the value of this has gone up a lot. So the price has pumped since I bought it, which is really good. So the thinking behind this is keeping an eye on a lot of these new protocols. And my previous way of doing things with INC was just keep getting the INC and then putting the INC back into the farm. So I had a PLS INC farm. I'd generate INC, then I'd create another PLS INC, and then another PLS INC. So now I've got this PLS INC, which is just printing INC, and then using that INC. This is something that I'm thinking about. I'd love to know what you guys think about this and what you guys, how you guys go about this. But the way that I was thinking about it previously is just hold it and wait for a pump and then sell the INC back into Pulse. But now I'm thinking, well, hang on a minute. Why don't I start actually using that INC as like a money printer, creating these liquidity pools and compounding it. And then once I get my initial back, because it's reasonably easy to get an initial back on this. So obviously, let's say this one here is $64 and $12. So what's that? You know, we're 1/6 of the way already in just a few hours. So if I had INC and I sold that for Pulse and then got this token here and then created a liquidity pool and then eventually in a week or two get my initial back, then it's a pretty good win. It's a pretty good win of utilizing the INC. So it's making me think, maybe I can actually put that INC to work instead of just waiting and waiting. Because I really like this idea of compounding and all these different yield generating protocols. Another really, really good one is Liquid Loans. Liquid Loans one looks amazing. The website is like spot on. So I ended up buying some USDL. And so at the moment, I bought some USDL and I also bought some loan. So this loan here generates PLS. So I'm getting PLS from it, from other people, and I'm getting USDL. So now with this, I'll show this one because this is, to me, this is like just brilliant. Like once a week, once every couple of weeks, just claim the rewards. So I'll claim those rewards. So I'm waiting for the transaction to go. And as I do that, then I'm going to go to the stability pool because this is where I have 200 USDL in there and it's generating me loan. So let's go through that again. So my loan, I've got 7.8 million loan. And in this stability pool, which I have 200 USDL, I've got 500,000 loan that's been generated plus 40,000 Pulse. So this is really good. These kinds of things is enough. The liquidation gains from other people liquidating, unlucky to them, it's not a good thing, but that helps us maintain the protocol. And it also just, not a huge amount of Pulse, but it's enough to tick across some of the fees and things like this that we have to pay on all these different protocols. It's not much, but hey, it's better than nothing. Okay, so now it's gone through. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to stake more of my USDL. So I've got some USDL that I just claimed. I'll put 100% of that in, confirm, add that into the stability pool. So you can see I'm taking it out of this, putting it into this, taking it out of there, putting it into there, and it's just this beautiful circle. So the protocol in and of itself is actually really, it's very, very well designed. So I'm generating yield, which I'm putting into another yield, which is generating yield. So it's like this cycle of yield generation. So my goal is to pretty much just leave it in here. And again, hopefully like, I don't plan on destroying the prices and I can't destroy the prices with how I sell. This is how like people can be irresponsible with how they sell. They can be overly greedy and they can destroy the price. But if you just sell in little bits and at the right kind of times, then again, everybody wins. But this is a kind of mindset shift that you can't really force on anyone. So now that's going to add that into the pool. So I'll do this like once a week, once every couple of weeks and see how it goes. I do have another one here. I haven't quite set this up on this browser, but IMPLS. So I've got a Pulsechain PulseX pool, and then I created a vault. And so I have Pulse, I think I've got a PulseX PLS PLP and I've got an INC PLS X. And again, same principle as KYMATO. So you're just creating the pools, you're getting the PLPs and you're adding the PLP into here, which is giving you a reward. in the native token. And then so you can sell that native token, or my goal is to keep compounding whatever I'm getting. So, you know, if I'm only putting $20, $30 here and there, and I end up getting $20 or $30 out of this, I can either put it back into my initial and go, beautiful, I've got my pulse chain back and I'm back to square one, or I can take that and compound it and grow it elsewhere. So I think for myself, I'll probably be in a position where I've got to think about it. I've got to reflect on what I think is going to be the best method, whether it's compounding or getting back my pulse chain, because I don't want to lose all my pulse chain to all of this. I still want to maintain a lot of pulse chain. So, and then of course you have all these different opportunities. I mean, I showed a thing on Twitter with these charts. I mean, all these charts look so enticing. So Teddy's kind of struggling a little bit at this price level. So it's going to be interesting to see whether it actually breaks out or not. Oops, how do we get rid of that? There we go. So it's going to be interesting to see. So it's really dancing with this line here. HOA, I've been waiting a long time to get some HOA. So for me, this is a really good buying opportunity for HOA. It has, but it's only dropped 50%. Okay, so wow, HOA chart is like really good, to be honest. So to the bottom is 70%. So I would probably start to scale into this because I like HOA and I want to just start creating liquidity pools with HOA, get into the whole Tang gang. Hopefully I can get unbanned from the Telegram. PTGC, another one. This is an interesting one because it did have its 90% drop, so it could have been the bottom. I would have thought it was going to drop a little bit lower, but it might be a good opportunity to scale in here. Rob, finally, I'm definitely going to hit the buy button on this one. So I am going to hit the buy button on Rob and create a liquidity pool. So I'm probably going to do a liquidity pool with Rob and Teddy Bear. So I just love this idea of like bonding up all these different tokens amongst all these other different tokens, and they all kind of go up together and down together in a healthy way, not in the Solana way where it all just gets pumped into one avenue. And then when that one avenue and everything else is getting lifted up, but there's not really any liquidity in those things. And then when this dumps, they all dump at the same time. With this, with all the interconnected liquidities and all the different communities, yeah, this can pump. And this is not necessarily pumping, but this is a beneficiary of this pump over here, and selling it is not going to destroy this. It's really like a beautiful something that seems a lot more sustainable and long-term. So then, of course, you have all these opportunities here with, oops, that looks a bit ugly. So, you know, Doge, the PRC copy of Doge, SHIB, PEPE. I still think these are plays. So I wanted these plays when it first started, when Pulsechain first launched. I got into these plays, but I got into them probably a little bit too late. And with the thinking that, eventually they're going to pump because there's massive whales in these tokens that will want to come across and actually play with their money, their free money. It hasn't actually happened. It's just been a selling event. But again, as the popularity of Pulsechain either grows or diminishes, hopefully it grows. I mean, I think if Richard Hart beats the SEC, then I think the floodgates will open. I really, really do. I think a lot of people are really cautious about that. But if he does beat the SEC, the floodgates will open. And all it's going to take is a few Doge whales to come across and go, hey, I've got a ton of Doge, PRC20 Doge. Why don't I bring across some of my ERC20 Doge, create liquidity pools, pair it up with stable coins, Pulsechain, and then I can start playing and creating a market here that other Doge participants can come across and play in, because it's literally just free money sitting there. And when they have liquidity pools, they're disincentivized to want to sell because they're going to want people to come across and start generating volume. And again, if you can start generating volume and building on Pulsechain, it's only going to be a positive thing because the fees are so low. Same as SHIB, same as PEPE. They're both basically at a floor. So it's like, I would consider going back to my original thesis and just maybe slowly chipping away at these. But at the moment, I don't really have a lot of Pulsechain to play with because I'm so tied up in other liquidity pools like my INC and PLS liquidity pools. Probably the one that I'm the least happiest about, simply because I probably over put in my Pulsechain like months and months ago. I put way too much Pulsechain. So it's kind of like locked away my Pulsechain in a way that I can't actually use it because it's really like down at the moment. So that's the only kind of issue I have there. So this is the INC PLS. So could it just be a forever down? So, I was creating liquidity pools up here, here. I think I was creating them as low as here, but still it's like my PLS is just, it's wrecked, but it's printing INC. So now I'm having a mindset shift like, okay, instead of just sitting on this INC and doing nothing, can I put that INC to work and start creating pools? And it generates a lot of volume if you create INC with other tokens as well. That's something that I've noticed, but also just converting the INC into a different token and creating like farms like we saw with Cadaceus. So that's it. So there's a lot of exciting opportunity, yield generating opportunities that are happening on Pulsechain. There's a lot of interesting things that you can do, and putting that money to work and contributing to the ecosystem and becoming a part of the ecosystem. And for me, this is what real DeFi is. When all these protocols started to happen in Ethereum, I was really excited. It was amazing, but the length of time and the amount that you had to put in there to generate some kind of sustainable return on it versus how much gas fees were, it was it was crap. I think I used Cream Finance. I had it in there for a few months, and by the time I took it out, it's like, man, the gas fees killed. I'm down because of the gas fees. If the gas fees weren't so savage, it would be like, oh, I've got this free money that I can put to use. This is the beauty of Pulsechain. Pulsechain is actually so cheap. So we can actually extract out of these liquidity pools and put them to work. So we're creating all this value all over the chain, which is fluctuating up and down. So a lot of people, there's a lot of liquidity still within Pulsechain, but a lot of people are just sitting on their Pulsechain and PulseX and Hex and not wanting to do anything with it. But me personally, I started to see these opportunities, and I started to see what it could mean for the chain and the health of the chain. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to start getting into this. And so I've been doing this for the last few months now. So with that said, short and sweet episode. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a safe and happy new year, and we'll see you next year.